Home Secretary will be aware of how important it is to make sure that members of this House get the protection and the defence they need. At one point, I got as many threats and abuse and threats of violence as all the other women MPs put together. So I think it's important that we take this issue seriously. I think we should recognise, and I can speak to that because of my years in the House, that this has got much, much worse with the rise of online activity. And so we need to find a way to make some of these online companies more accountable for the threats and the violence that they allow on their platforms. And we need to make it aware, as I just said, the importance of protecting members of Parliament.
Home Secretary.
Mr Speaker, let me say to the Mother of the House that I think that given the sheer range of threats that have been made to her personally, it is a testament to her personal bravery that she has continued to be an active parliamentarian. But it should not take such levels of bravery to just be able to represent the people of your constituency. And she is absolutely right that we must always make sure that our security arrangements are able to keep pace with the changing nature of threats that members of Parliament are facing. Let me assure her we, as the government, will do that, and we work very closely with the Parliamentary Security Department in order to make sure that that is the case, so that all members can make their contribution just as effectively and for just as long as she has.
Some Liberal Democrat spokesperson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The news about Ann Widdecombe is shocking and deeply distressing. My thoughts are with her family, including her nephew, the Reverend Roger Widdecombe, my constituent, and his wife Hannah, who lead the congregation at St Paul's Church in Cheltenham. Her death is all the more tragic, given what we now know about the upsetting and disturbing circumstances. Ann Widdecombe was a conviction politician and also an entertainer. Many did not agree with her views, including me, particularly when she was briefly my member of the European Parliament. But the style in which she put those views was compelling, and it captured the attention of her nation, just as her dance moves. They were deeply held beliefs, and she was a passionate public servant who was never afraid to challenge those in power, and might I briefly speculate, Mr Speaker, a strong liberal inclination to challenge power from a strong Conservative politician. I want to pay tribute to the police for their rapid response in this case, and I want to pay tribute to you, Mr Speaker, for the way in which your office gives security support to MPs. It is important we are able to do our jobs without fear, intimidation or worse. It is, of course, horrifying that there have been 3 politicians murdered in this country in the past decade. Clearly there is more work to be done. Might the government support some amendments to the upcoming Representation of the People Bill to impose a duty on the Electoral Commission to provide more guidance and safety for politicians? And will the Home Office consider supporting some measures so the safety of politicians can be improved? And finally, Mr Speaker, some alarming allegations were made on the weekend by the Reform Home Affairs spokesperson Zia Youssef. If they are true, these allegations are extremely concerning, but given his record, I think many of us have doubts. I'm certain that the government and the House authorities, including you, Mr Speaker, are taking seriously the duty of care to members from all parties in this House. But for the sake of the record, perhaps the Home Secretary can confirm that this remains the case.
Let me thank the Honourable Member for his contribution on his 3 specific issues that he raised on the amendments to the Representation of the People Bill. Let me say to him, I'm very happy to discuss with him. He knows that Home Office is not the lead for that bill, but I'm very happy to have a discussion with him about any additional measures that might be needed in terms of legislation. Of course, the Electoral Commission has its own work to do. It might be better that duties are placed elsewhere, but as I say, I'll happily discuss that with him. And equally, whether there's any further obligations or changes of policy in respect of the Home Office or indeed the Parliamentary Security Department. Again, I'm happy to engage with him and other members across this House. Let me also say, I don't wish to speak for you, Mr Speaker, but I think all those of us who are members can attest to the fact that all of us are treated equally in this place by the Speaker, and also for the purposes of the Parliamentary Security Department when it comes to our safety on this estate and also in our constituencies. Let me say that is a position shared by the government. There is equal treatment for all in terms of the work that we do on security of members of Parliament. There is specific work that is undertaken by RAVEC, which is the independent body within the Home Office that looks at security arrangements for some of those in public life. That work is also fiercely independent. It has been the subject of legal proceedings before, and I've always maintained the independence of that process, and that is based on risk assessment and risk management.
Just for the record, every Member of Parliament is equal in the security to me. There is no difference between any member, I want to assure. When things are brought to my attention, because we don't discuss security, I don't put out there what is happening, what has been done, but I reassure everybody that when it is mentioned to me, it is passed on to the security people to deal with. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that people don't think I do that. Lucy Pell.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Can I join the Home Secretary in paying my respects and condolences to the family of Ann Widdecombe? We might not have agreed politically, but I always greatly admired and respected her outspokenness, her fearlessness, and her ability to not take herself too seriously. I think she was one of a kind, Mr Speaker, and of the like, frankly, we don't make any more. I think we can all agree on that. I hope that on moments like this we can come together across the House to talk about these issues as one voice. And can I also place on record my thanks to you, Mr Speaker, for your leadership in all that you've done over many years in making sure that we're all kept safe and secure. Does the Home Secretary agree with me, though, that this is not about more than just our security and our safety? It's also about reducing the level of threat. We are now in a highly politicised, highly polarised, highly personalised debate in this country, and that is bringing more and more threats onto all of us. And does she agree with me that we do need to tackle some of the online algorithms and business models which heighten this kind of polarisation and hate towards those in public life, and we must do more to tackle this with urgency?
I thank the Honourable Lady for her contribution and her questions. Let me say, I think she's right that the current climate that we are operating in within our national politics is unlike any that most of us have seen. Those of us who've been around for a while can see the big change that has occurred over the last decade or so, and we do absolutely have to do more as a government and as a society to know exactly what the boundaries are between passionate, contested, fierce debate of the kind that Ann Widdecombe herself engaged in, and then behaviour that spills into threats and harassment of the kind that is designed to drive people out of public life. And getting that balance right, I think, is absolutely crucial. I think it is clear that there is more work for the government to do. There is more work for us to do across society. That includes social media platforms taking greater responsibility for the kinds of behaviours that are promoted on their platforms. And I can assure her that I will be discussing this with colleagues across government to make sure that we are responding to all of them.